Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new to my channel. I'm back with another tutorial showing how I stencil wood signs that I sell at my craft fair. So a little recap, if you didn't see my last video, my last stenciling tutorial, this is a viewer request and I was asked how I do stenciling on my signs. And I decided to make a couple of tutorials to show you how I do it. So last week I did a video of a fall themed sign on a round wood piece. If you didn't see that, I'll link it below in the description. And today I'll be doing a Christmas themed sign on this piece of wood here that I get at the Dollar Tree. Now these are sold as a shelf, but I use them to make signs. So this is what they look like. They already have the holes in them, which is great. I love that. I don't use these items that come with it, but you are welcome to use this to hang your sign if you want to, but I'll be using jute twine. Okay, so if you want to make these, I hope you can find them at your Dollar Tree. I find mine in the section where they have those sticky tiles that you decorate your walls with, and I think the picture frames are there too. So hopefully that's where they put them at your store too. Alright, so let's make a sign. Okay, so what I have done here is I've prepared my sign, both front and back. I did have a little boo-boo there, I'll have to fix that, but this is the back and this is the front, and I've prepared my surface with folk art chalk paint in white. I get this from Amazon, but you can buy the other colors that I use are Waverly, and you can buy Waverly in white at Walmart, so that's where I get these. I don't have white in the Waverly, I'm not sure why, but probably because I have the folk art. So anyway, this is a really good one. It's I really like this chalk paint. So we're also going to be using this stencil here. This came in a pack that I got from Amazon. I'll link that for you below. I don't know if they're still available, but I'll check and see if they are. If they are, I will link it for you. Okay, so let's see. We're just going to get started. So if you didn't see my last video, what you want to do is get yourself some really good stencil brushes. These are specifically for stenciling. I believe I bought this pack at Hobby Lobby. I'm not positive. It says the brand is Plaid. So anyway, it comes in a pack with different sizes, which do come in handy because you use different sizes for different parts of the stencil. I'll also be using some washi tape to hold my stencil still while I'm working on it, and of course some chalk paint. So today I'm going to be using crimson red in Waverly. I think I'm going to use some of this hazelnut chalk paint and truffle brown. And then I'm going to do a little mixture of these two greens. Now this is acrylic paint, and you can use acrylic paint, but sometimes it's easier to make mistakes using acrylic paint than chalk paint. They're just different textures. So I might, to get the color that I want, I'm going to be mixing these two together. So that way I'll get the color that I want, and it'll still have some texture of the chalk paint. So I think that'll work just fine. And I'll tell you about everything else as we go along. So all we're going to do is center this, get the stencil where you want it, and the stencil is almost too big for the wood, but I think can get it to work. Now I made one of these last year from a craft fair, and it was one of the first signs that sold. I thought it turned out really cute. I'm wondering if the sign that I got last year was a little bit bigger. Okay, so these might get cut off just a tad bit, but that's okay. So we got it centered, and what you want to do is use some low tack washi tape. I have some washi tape that is a little stickier than others, so I try to use one that isn't very sticky, so it doesn't pull off paint, or when you remove it, it doesn't pull off the paint. Which, I mean, this is chalk paint. It's probably not going to get pulled off. But if you saw my last tutorial, I started with antiquing wax on my surface. And I do know that if the washi tape is too sticky, it can pull off the surface if it's antique waxed. So, anyway. So, uh-oh. Looked like that moved a little bit. Alright, so you just want to make sure, well, you really want to think about your color scheme. What colors you want to use. And so, what I'm going to do first is red. So I'm going to do gingerbread bakery in red. And then I also want to do cookies, cakes, biscotti, and rosettes here in red. And so I'm going to try to do those first. And what I want to do is block off this part here, these lines, because I want to do those in a different color, and I don't want to accidentally get red on that. So let's go ahead and do this one. Now this is the old-fashioned way to make signs. Stenciling's been around for a long time, and I just love the result. I think it's really, it looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to wait until I get this one done before I put down my washi tape, and you'll see what I mean here. So I'm just using some paper, excuse me, some paper plates, just so that I can, what am I trying to say? So that I can throw it away when I'm finished. Alright, so it usually doesn't take a whole lot of paint. I'll show you here. Just gonna get a little bit. That's probably even more than we need, but we'll see. So these little tiny bottles are only a couple dollars. Probably less than $2, which is nice because you can get all the colors for pretty cheap. And so you just want to dip your brush and swirl it off to the side. You don't want a whole lot of paint on your brush, just enough to get the color on there. And I know it's not going to look like there's a lot going on to your sign, but it's more than you think. Alright, so I kind of use like a little tool. You can use the end of a paintbrush or anything. And I like to hold around the letters and use a circular motion when you're doing this. Just go in circles. You're going to use a light, just a light motion. Don't push on the brush. You don't want paint to get under the stencil. That's the goal. And so I'm using this plastic tool here so that I don't get paint all over my fingers. Chalk paint is kind of a pain to get off, but it is, in my opinion, the best paint to use for stenciling. So I'm just going to rub in this part here that's, oh, it's already dry. Sometimes it doesn't dry that fast, but sometimes I just go back to the rubbed part and I just like reload my brush. But as you can see, I'm not applying very much paint. And the chalk paint's really good to help from bleeding. And that's another good reason to use chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint. I will say I've made more mistakes using acrylic paint. So it's not that you can't use it. It's just not my preference. There were two different color reds that they have, and I was kind of debating which red to use, but I chose crimson. The other color is called lacquer. It's a little darker. I hope you can see this. I know my hand's kind of in the way just from the position of the camera, but I think you can get what I'm doing here. But yeah, lacquer is just a little darker, if you can see that. It looks a little darker red, so I think it would be pretty on here. But this is the color I used last time I made the sign, and so I just figured I'd use the same one, because I already know that it turns out nice. Now these stenciling does take some time, but I think the results are worth it. I'm guilty of using too much paint, and I know I'm not supposed to use a lot of paint, but it just looks like it's not going to be enough, and then I add more, and I know I'm not supposed to. So, stencil projects are great if you don't have a Cricut, which I don't. And there's so many, you can get so many really nice stencils. So, you have lots of options to make signs. I will be showing how I finish this at the end. So if you stick around, I'm going to be decorating the sides with some pretty ribbon. And also I'll be using jute twine as the hanger. I just like the way the jute looks. You could use the string that comes with it. So you don't have to buy any twine if you don't have any. Uh-oh, got a little bit of red there. I love that these signs already have holes in it. Always make sure you wash your brush right after stenciling, because the chalk paint will ruin your brush. I like to use alcohol to get the paint off of the actual stencil. That seems to be the thing that works the best. I've tried soap, I've tried scrubbing it, but chalk paint is very durable, and it's hard to come off. So make sure you clean your stencil right after you're finished if you can. If you can't, it's probably going to be there forever. Or you'll have to use a lot of elbow grease to get it off with alcohol. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now I want to cover this one now that I've got this done. I want to cover this top line here so that I can stencil this part in red. Okay. I didn't do this before because it was covering up the letters there. Okay. So in the last tutorial, I only used white. And this one I wanted to make a sign for you with using different colors and show you how I do that. It's a little bit of a different process, but I mean, it basically is the same technique. I just wanted to share how I tape it off and do different colors, and I thought that might be helpful for beginners if you've never stenciled before. I'm the type of crafter, I like to do different types of crafting. And so mostly my channel is paper crafting, but I do share all of the things that I make for my craft fair, and I love painting too. So that's why we're also doing painting on this channel. Alright, so I'm just going to wash my brush out, and next I'm going to use green. So I'm going to do this wording green, and I want to do these in like a dark brown. And, uh-oh, I lost my rag there. Try to get the paint out of my brush before it gets set in there. Okay, so I just squeezed the water out and washed my brush real good and dried it off, so that way it'll be ready if and when I need it. Okay, so as you can see, I still have paint there. So it just doesn't take very much paint to do stenciling, which is nice, I think. I'm going to wipe off my little thing here so I don't get red everywhere. Okay, so let's use green. And like I said, I'm going to mix a little bit of my colors, because this one's kind of light and I wanted a darker green. So, they didn't, for some reason, I don't think I got the dark green when I went to Walmart last time. Or maybe they didn't have dark green. I can't remember. Maybe I just thought, oh, I'll just make it myself. No big deal. So you can see this one's a little bit darker. And let's see if we can get a color that I like. Add a little bit more this one so it'll be darker. Uh-oh, that was probably too much. Alright, this still isn't as dark as I'd like for it to be, but that's okay. We're just gonna go with it. I probably just used acrylic paint last year, and it was fine, but I don't remember. So we're going to mix it with chalk paint so it'll have a better coverage than acrylic paint, hopefully. So just load your brush up, circle it around to get it all in your bristles, and then be careful not to get it on right here. So what I'm going to do is, if I can find my washi tape, I'm going to put a little tape to cover this so that I don't get green on this part, because I want to paint this brown. Okay, so let's do that. Now this, since this is got some acrylic paint in it, I need to make sure I don't have too much paint on my brush. And make sure you hold down around your letters really well. You don't want the stencil lifting while you're stenciling. I wish they had a darker green at Walmart. I'm thinking maybe they did, and I just didn't get it for some reason. I don't know. I can't remember. I think I'm also going to do a little mixing with the brown for the gingerbread man. I may make the color that I want to use. Gingerbreads are kind of a medium brown, but this truffle is kind of dark. So anyway, I'm going to go down here and take this one off, and I'll use that same piece to cover the red part, because we do not want to get green on the red. So let's do that while we stencil this part. And hopefully this does not bleed. Now, if it bleeds, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Okay? This is very close to the edge, which I don't like. So this one may end up with a mistake, but we'll see. If it does, then we'll fix it. And that'll be a good opportunity for me to show you how to clean up your finished product after you stencil. Correcting is almost as important as stenciling, because it can make or break how crisp your stenciling turns out. I'll have to show you how to do that. probably have too much paint on my brush. Alright, so we've got that one. Let me see if I can pull this one off. Now it's going to pull this off too. So we're going to have to move things around here. So even though that green part's wet, I'm just going to move this piece down a little bit. Cover it up. Because you want to be able to hold your stencil down while you're working. Like you want to have it taped on all sides so that it doesn't move. It gets kind of tricky sometimes. So I'm going to cover up the top of those words. I don't want to do it green. I also want to cover up these little legs of the gingerbread man so they don't get green. Okay. Get a little bit more paint. And I'm going to hold this down on both sides, the top and the bottom, just to try to keep it from lifting while I'm working on it. So I know I have a lot of paper crafters that watch my channel. I'm curious to know if any of you do stenciling. If you don't, do you think you might try it after this? Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so we got that done, and that's all the green I want to do. So I'm going to clean my brush off, get it good and clean, dry it off. Now another thing, you do not want your brush, stencil brush, to be wet. That will mess with your paint and cause your paint to be watery, and you don't want that. So there's an important tip for you if you're still with me here. I'm going to clean up this green off my hand here. Okay, so next we're going to do brown. So I have to figure out where I'm going to tape my stencil down so that I can do brown. Trying to get the green off here. Okay, so I'm going to use my small brush again, and we're going to do these areas here with brown. So I'm going to take up this tape, and I'm not sure if that's dry yet. It looks dry, but I'm going to cover this letter here so I don't get brown on it. Cover that one up. Okay, so I'm gonna get another plate just so I don't mix colors here. This video is going to be a little long just because I don't do editing. And stenciling does take time. It does. Okay, so I'm going to use Truffle because I want these to be dark. I'd really like for my gingerbread to be lighter. So we'll see what we'll do with that. So I'm not going to need very much paint here. I don't think. I don't know. See the color of that? I think it might be, not be too dark for the gingerbread. We'll just do it all the same color and see how it turns out. Sometimes that's just how crafting goes. You just try it and see how it goes. Right? Okay. So let's get some brown on here. Yeah, I think this truffle's going to be fine for the gingerbread. Man, I was thinking it was real dark. So, I think it'll be fine. And just be aware of where you're working and what you've already painted. You don't want to go over a color that you've already done. A piece of the stencil that you've already done, rather. As you can see, this is really close to the edge. So it's going to be cut off just a tad bit. But that's okay. I don't think anyone will notice. So let's do the other side. I usually sell my signs for about $10. You know, you mainly have time in this project. The sign is $1.25. And then you got a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of twine. And that's about it. So you don't have a whole lot of money in it, but you just mostly have time. Okay, so now we need to do the gingerbread, but this is really holding the stencil down. So, since this is dry, I think it's going to be safe to put some tape over that. And this is why you want to use low-tack tape, because you don't want to pull up the paint, which I don't think you would with using chalk paint. But if you're using a different type of paint, like acrylics, then it's possible you pull up the paint. So, alright, so I'm going to take off the tape here. To expose the gingerbread, man. This sign turns out so cute. Like I said, it sold really quickly. Now you've got a piece of green here. You want to really cover that so you don't, because it's real close to the gingerbread. Make sure you don't make any mistakes there. And you can reuse this washi tape. You can just move it around where you need it. So I'm going to put this piece over the green here. Alright, so I think that's all uncovered. Let's work on this side. I'm going to be using this really pretty red ribbon that has white polka dots. If you stick around, it looks really good on this sign. is that? Oh, it's a piece of washi tape. Alright, so this is covering the leg a little bit, so I gotta lift that piece up and just tear it off. Alright, look at your surroundings. Make sure you're not gonna get any mistakes. Cover like the close areas there, and just keep going. If this brown is too dark for you, you can mix it with the lighter shade, which is called Hazelnut, which I thought about doing, but I changed my mind. If you wanted to add a little dimension, after this dark brown dries, you can take the hazelnut and just go around the edges of the gingerbread, and that would like highlight the edges, and that would be cute. But for time purposes, I'm not going to do that in this video. Okay, we're almost done here. I've been loving this weather here in Kentucky. We've just been having the most beautiful fall-like weather. I'm wondering if it's like that anywhere else. Fall's my favorite time of year, and it's summer and we're having fall weather, and I'm just loving it. Okay, so I think that's it for the painting. Yeah, I think that's all. So I'm going to wash my brush out, and then I'm going to show you all how to touch this up once I pull the stencil off. So let me wash my brush out real quick and dry it off. And I'll be using a small brush to make corrections. Makes your stenciled sign turn out better. It just looks more finished, but you can leave it. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Alright, so here's the reveal. This is where you hold your breath and hope that it turns out. So let's pull off the tape here. And so you just want to be careful when you lift it. Yay! It worked. Doesn't that look so good? I mean, there are a couple of little boo-boos here and there. Do you love that as much as I do? I just think that's so pretty. Isn't that a great sign? Okay. So that turned out pretty good. What I like to do, if you can see these lines here, the white lines in there, that is where the stencil, you know, how the stencil is made. I actually like the way that looks, so I think I'm going to leave the white lines on the red. And I don't think I'm going to correct that because I like the way it looks. Okay, I'm going to show you, there aren't any mistakes on here that I can tell. And there's a little bit down here, as I expected. You can see there's some little bleeding here. Can you see that? And a little bit up here with the green. Now this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. When you use acrylic paint, it's more runny, and this is the effect that you get. You can see how the letters are real crisp here, but right here you've got some bleeding. And so that's why I like to use chalk paint. So there was a great example. Alright, so I'm just going to show you quickly how to tidy these up. And if you wanted to fill in these white lines here, all you would do is take your red and get it on your brush, and you would just fill it in just like that. But I'm going to leave that today. I'm just going to clean up around the edges here. And then we'll put the ribbon on. It's so cute. I can't wait for you to see it. Alright, so I'm going to be using my white paint to make corrections. Just going to put a little bit on the plate here. Just a tiny bit is all I need. That's probably way more than I need. Alright, so these are really small letters. I need to find the tiniest brush that I have. And this one is probably going to work good. This one's a little bigger. So let's use this one. Just going to roll it around. Roll it like that. Get some on there, load it up, and just roll it. And so what I'm going to do is, this takes a steady hand, and you just go around like that. Where you want to clean it up. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to look a little better. So can you tell the difference in that end? Like, I definitely try not to make these stenciled signs perfect. But, you know, if I can make them look a little better, I try. So I'm just going to clean up around the K. And that looks okay. In the middle of the R, there's a little bit of mistake there. The N is looking kind of wonky, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it. It gives it character. Alright, so down at the bottom, I'm going to clean up the edge here. I'm just basically going to go along the bottom. Clean that up. It's real simple to correct. Zoom in here a little bit. Correct your mistakes. But like I said, sometimes the mistakes gives it character. So if you like the way that looks, then just leave it. It'd be less work anyway. Okay. I think that's all I'm gonna do. Everything looks good. Now the brown, I don't really love the white on the brown there, so I am gonna touch that up real quick. I'm gonna fix that one. This is a good chance for you to see like how I pick and choose what to correct and what not to correct. So you're just gonna basically just fill in that little space where the stencil is held together. That's why those are there. It's just the stencil. Get a little bit more paint. And if you go out of line with your color, wait till it dries and come back with the white. And just touch it up with white. That's all you do. And this is not going to look perfect. So if you think mine are perfect, I can assure you they aren't. Okay, so I just made a mistake there. That's alright, I can just fix it later. Just wait for it to dry. And if your paint seems to be too dry when you're doing this, you can add a little water to your brush. And that will help when you're making these corrections. Alright, I think I like the way it looked better before. That's okay. That's okay. Something's wrong with my brush. It's not working good. Alright, so I'm going to finish this one up. And then we're going to put some ribbon on it. Finish it off. I put my mums out yesterday. I love mums. It's like, I want to put my fall sign out, but it's just too early. Even though it feels like fall. Oh, I was out of frame there. You can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Alright, so that wasn't perfect. But once it's dry, I'll go in here and just clean up around that brown a little bit. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with how that turned out. Okay, so I'm going to put this paint away and show you how I finished decorating the sun. Alright, so I'm going to be using... I'm gonna find somewhere to put my paint. Alright, I'm gonna be using this ribbon, and I believe this came from either Walmart or Michael's. They both sell this brand, and so I can't say for sure, but I'm think it was from Walmart. Now what I've done already is I have, let me zoom out a little bit here. I have cut these strips. I measured like around the front and the back, and I've already cut these, and they are measuring about 12, almost 12 inches, and I've already prepared the backs with score tape. I buy this score tape, like it has different sizes in it. It comes in a package with the different sizes. I love that. Because as you can see, I've got 3 different sizes on here to fit this ribbon perfectly. I don't know if they sell one that's 1 inch. They probably do. I just couldn't find mine. But anyway, so here I'm using, this is a 1/2 inch, and this is a 1/4 inch, and this one's probably an 1/8. Yeah, it is. So those are the sizes of my score tape that I use to perfectly fit this, but it's 1 inch wide. Yeah, 1 inch. So if you have 1 inch score tape, use that. I did not. So, what we're going to do is place the ribbon here. Isn't that so pretty? I love this. Look how that's going to look. That's going to really make the sign look great. So, that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so I'm just going to use my handy dandy little, now you can use glue to put this on. I would recommend Fabri-Tac. which I'm also going to use. But I wanted to put score tape on there first and then use glue. That way I know it'll stay really well. Because I seal these, I want to make sure nothing comes off. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but I try really hard to make things that won't fall apart. And I can assure you, if you use hot glue, it's not going to last long term. Fabri-Tac is a very, very long-lasting glue, and the score tape will help hold it on. Okay, so what I want to do is basically center the ribbon with the holes, if I can. And we're just going to wrap this around the back. So I probably should have done this facing me so I can make sure it's straight. I need to make sure it's straight. Alright, that looks good. Oh my gosh, it's sticking. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this around. Making sure to press it real good on the edge. You can trim this if it's too long. Oh shoot, I was going to use glue and I forgot. I wanted to use glue down the center of the ribbon, but I think it's okay. I am going to use it on the end to, excuse me, to hold it on there. I just forgot that I wanted to put it under the ribbon too. So what I'm going to do is just overlap this. I think it'll be fine. Get my glue to come out. I have a new bottle, but I'll try to use it. Try to use it all. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue here. And then I'll put some at the end here. And try to get it straight. And I wrap the ribbon all the way around so that it'll at least look finished on the back. That's another reason why I painted it on the back. In case someone puts this on a door that has a window, then at least from the back it still looks good. Alright, well I forgot the glue, but that's okay. It'll probably stick. I was just being extra with that. Okay, so let's get the other one on. I'm working at my painting table today. I have one table that I exclusively do painting, and one table I use for paper crafting and everything else. That way I can keep my supplies in the area where I need them. And it makes it easier, especially when I don't feel like cleaning up my table. I can just leave it and I can go to my other table that's already clean. Alright, it's kind of a pain to get off there, but this step is important. Alright, let's try to make this match. Let's see. Now you could measure this if you wanted to, and that way you could make sure you got it straight, but I'm just going to eyeball it and hope for the best. Hope for the best. Okay, I moved it. Do this one first. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue here. A little bit of glue here. And that way the ends don't come up at least. All right, that looks good. Just make sure you press it down really good. Get a good adhesion. Doesn't that look so nice? I love this. I love this sign. I try to make different types of signs from year to year, but this one was so cute I had to make it again. So. Alright, so we're not going to need any more glue. What I want to do now is I want to poke the holes through here so that I can put my twine. And I'm going to be using, excuse me, this twine that has a little bit of gold weaved in. I got this on clearance from Michael's last year, but you can use twine that doesn't have gold. It will look just as good. So now I'm going to find my pokey tool. Actually, I think this is for leather, and it's very dangerous. I don't trust myself with it because I have had so many many boo-boos from this thing, but it works really well. So what I want to do is find my hole and poke it through. And that way we can get that twine through there. Hopefully. Okay, let's do the other side. Watch your fingers on the back when you poke this thing through. Gosh. Just be careful. This thing is really sharp. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is for leather. Okay. So I've got my holes in there. And I'm gonna, what I want to do is, I like the way it looks when you put a knot in the front. Gives a little more character. And I don't want the sign to be too long, so just do a rough guesstimate, cut your piece off, and you can always cut off the rest. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that twine through there without using my beading tool. Let's see. Beading, I think this is called a beading needle. Yeah. Let's see if I can get that through there. If so, I think that'll help. Okay. Let's see, am I doing it the right way? Yes. So just put that through there and pull it through. We're going to put a knot on this side. Now we need to bring it through the other side. Hopefully you all can see this. Not sure. No, it needs to go through. How do I get that to go through that way? No. needs to go this direction. I think. This is real life here for me, you guys. Real life confusion. Okay, so get your sign the height that you want it. That looks pretty good. Might be a little too tall. Now you can add bows to this when you're done. You know, you can just, there's so many things you can do with this. I'm just doing the minimal here, just for time purposes. And pull it tight and do it again. You want to do a second knot, make your knot bigger. It looks good and it holds better, so let's see what that looks like. Actually, I think I'm going to do it 3 times because I want the knot to be a little bit bigger. Okay. I'm just going to cut that off. Do it on the other side. Make sure you measure how far you want this before you put your knot in there. Don't forget that step. I have done that before. Let's see, that looks good. So I did use a little bit too much twine, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Okay, now that I have that marked, I can pull it through so I can work with it a little bit better. I'm going to do this just like I did the other side. Now, on the back of these signs, I like to put a sticker that has my email address on it. And that way, if somebody sees it and their friend wants one, then that's a good way to get like free advertising. Alright, make sure you tie it real good before you cut it off. Alright, and that's it. That's all for this side. I love the way this one turned out. I just think it's so pretty and so much fun to make. And in that pack of stencils, you get all different kinds of designs. I guess I should have had those prepared to show you, but I didn't think about it. I did show it in another video a while back, so you've probably already seen it. But if you haven't and you follow the link that I put on Amazon, or put to Amazon in the description below, then you'll see that it comes with so many different stencils, so you have lots of options. But yeah, I just loved how this turned out. I hope you did too, and I hope you learned something about stenciling, and I hope you give it a try. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon.